In this video, we are going to be talking about the Yongnuo YN360 Mark IV. So I have been using Yongnuo products since the year 2019, and I used the YN300 Mark III, the YN300 Mark IV, the YN216, which was that spotlight thing, the YN600 Air, the YN300 Air, you name it. I basically almost used the entire arsenal of Yongnuo's LED lights, except the flashes because I didn't really tackle it that much at that time. But yeah, we now got the Mark IV versions, which are the lights over here. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about the body. So the body has changed a little bit. Before, they did not have these barn doors. As you can see, the front now has barn doors, which you can use to direct light to your subject. So let's pretend your subject is over here. You can now direct the light without letting the light spill to different directions, because if I open the barn doors this way, it's going to spill to this direction. You can see, you can actually use the barn doors to shape the light. It's not going to just be spilling all over the place. You can actually be more precise with your light. So one more thing is that the vents are a lot more different now. They're slightly bigger, and this allows for heat dissipation to be a little bit more well managed, and this will not overheat. Actually, I never had any overheating problems with the YN360 Mark III. So this is a good plus. It just gives you a peace of mind that this will not switch off on you. And one more thing is that they added this handle over here. Now you can actually grip the light like this. You don't need to just put it on a light stand. You can actually hand this to your assistant to hold the light for you. And yeah, this just gives you a more tactile hold for it. And one more thing is that they place the battery at the bottom over here. So the remote has changed as well. I don't know if you can see it. The remote is not just magnetized, but it actually has a flick switch. There's a proper switch over here that you can put the remote in, and it locks. So there's no more chances of you losing the remote compared to the YN360 Mark III. So if you purchase the YN360 Mark IV, you are gonna get a case, which is this one over here. It is like a padded case which allows you to transport the light without having to stuff it into a Pelican case. And yeah, you just have a separate case to carry everything. So if you open it, inside you get the light itself, two barn doors, which has a reflective one on the inside and a black one on the outside, so it's up to you. So sometimes if you want to make sure that the light doesn't splash so much, you can use the black one on the inside. Or if you want to amplify the light, then you want to use the reflective one on the inside. You get your manual, which is both written in English and Chinese. You get your powering DC adapter, and you get your screws to attach your barn doors to your light. So like what I said, you can choose whether you want the black part to be inside, or do you want the reflective one on the inside. So these two options allow you to choose between having the light amplified with the reflective one, or have it diffused or more directive with the black one. So you just have to align the holes to each other and just screw them on. Okay, before we power on the light, we're going to be talking about these three variables over here that are accessed with that flick switch. There are three main things. This one is basically for the layout mode, which we are not going to be talking about. We're just going to be focusing on the lock and the main light mode. So the main light mode allows you to just use the remote, and yeah, everything about the light you will access with this. And this lock mode basically means if you already set whatever settings you want to keep, place it on lock mode, and if you switch off the light and you switch it back on, it's going to stay that way. And at the same time, if you do put it on lock mode and you accidentally touch stuff on the remote, it's not going to change any values. So this is a good thing for people who like to keep their settings, or if you hand it to another person, yeah, it's not going to change anything. So after talking about the different options on this flick switch over here, we're now going to flick the switch over to N. Right there. So put it on N and we're ready to go. So now basically switch on the light using the power flick switch. It is now going to switch on. So I highly recommend you guys to download the Yongnuo app over here, so you don't need to keep using the remote. So with the Yongnuo app, it allows you to control everything. So if I wanted to increase the brightness, I can do that, and I can even change the temperature like this. If I want a little bit more orange, I can put it on orange over there. Or if I want it to be blue, I can scroll it to blue. Is that blue? No, it is not. Okay, this is a little bit blue, right? If you want green, you can do that. So this app really opens up a lot of possibilities, especially if you're on set. You don't want to keep going to the light just to adjust everything, right? So it helps to use this app. So just in case you guys are wondering about brightness level, let me switch it on. So right now I have it on 5600 Kelvin at 1%. So this is 1%, okay? I'm gonna switch off this light so you can see it clearly. Now this is at 30% at 5600 Kelvin, 60% and 100%. And oh my goodness, it's really bright now. It's really crazy how something like this can light up this whole room, right? So just get a couple of these and I'm sure you're gonna be set for whatever shoot you need it with. Let me switch this back on. So I'm not going to give you a full tutorial on how to use this light because you already have your manual for that, but I am going to show you different ways to use this light. So one way is to just use it as a key light. So if you have a white wall, which I have over here, you can actually bounce the light by facing this light over there and you can get a key light. So let me switch off my main light and switch over to this one. Okay, right now I'm just bouncing this light against the white wall. And yeah, I can basically use it as a key light if I wanted to, but of course I would still prefer to have a softbox. But for people who are in a pinch and don't want to consume so much space with a big softbox, you can basically use this as a key light if you wanted to. So one more way to use this is just to set it as a backlight. So I'm going to set it to a color that I want, which is a little bit of orangey. And now just for safety purposes, I'm going to put it on lock. So if I lock it right now with this flick switch over here, I don't know if you can remember it. I'm gonna lock it. Now, no matter what I do with the controller, it's not gonna change the settings, which is good because now I can rest assured that I can get to keep these settings without worrying it changing on me. So I'm gonna use this light, put it there, and then use another light. I'm gonna put it over there, so we can actually get a little RGB set going. So as you can see, they make for sick background lights. So right now it's like acting as like a little, I don't know, like a practical light just at the background showing you that this is like a tech review, and yeah, it adds a little bit more dimension to your shot. It makes the shot less boring. So let's pretend you want to use these YN360 Mark IVs as a backlight, which allows you to separate yourself from the background, because sometimes if we don't use backlights or hair lights, we're just gonna disappear with the key light, you know? So we're gonna switch over to the YN360s as backlights by switching them over to 5600 Kelvin mode. So I'm now switching off the YN360 Mark IVs, and I'm going to switch off my backlight over there. So now right now it's really weird, right? Because now I have a key light, but now I'm just looking like I'm disappearing into the background. But if you add a backlight, which is not blue because there is no blue color here, we're going to switch it over to CCT mode. Now it looks a little bit better. Now you can see a little bit outline on my hair, opposed to if I didn't have light there. It just looks like two-dimensional, right? So adding a backlight makes your shot a little bit more three-dimensional and it adds more taste to the image, opposed to having no backlight, which is a little bit more boring, right? So if you have a light stand, you can put it there, angle it towards your subject, and now you can see like a halo rim light effect going on, right? So it's separating me from the background. So here I'm going to teach you how to use your YN360 Mark IV in layout mode. So first, I want you to get your manual and download the app by scanning the QR code over here. After you've done that, now we're going to go onto the lights. You can see on this panel over here, I want you to make sure that your flick switch is on N. Make sure you're not on lock mode or layout mode. Just make sure you're on N and power on the light. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to press M1. We're going to change the channel by pressing this, the middle button, and then we're going to change the channel. So in my case, I'm going to change it to channel 30. I'm just going to press OK. And now after I've changed the channel, I'm going to go over to the right panel over here and switch it over to layout mode. Just like that. You're going to have a change on your screen there. That means it's ready to be controlled by your smartphone. Now we're going to go to the next light over here. Same thing, you're going to go to the side panel over here, make sure you are on N, power on the light, and then now you are going to adjust the channel again. So press M1, press the middle button, and now you can change the channel number. So I'm just going to leave it on 1, and now it's all ready to be paired using your phone. We are going to switch the flick switch to layout mode. 1, 2. So now you're going to see both of these lights now have Y and C on their screens, which it just basically means the layout mode is ready. Now you're going to head over to your phone, open the app, which says Yongnuo OS. When you're on this screen, make sure you press layout, which is the button on the lower right corner, right there. And now we're going to add new lights. You can see this button over here. We're going to press add new light. So if you remember correctly, this is channel number 1, and this is channel number 30. So we're going to add number 1 first. So make sure that this is on 1, which is already right here. You're going to decide what color. So right now it's blue, right? I'm going to change it maybe to the opposite. I'm going to turn this into orange and this into blue. So how do I do that? I'm going to scroll this wheel
make sure it's on orange. So the problem with this, you're not going to see any live changes, so just make sure it's on orange. The saturation, we're going to put it on 100% so you can actually see the full color. And for intensity, we're going to put it on maybe 25%, like that. So you're going to press OK. So you can see it changed to orange. Now we're going to add another light, which is channel number 30 here. So we're going to press add new light. We're going to type in the channel number, which is 30. Make sure it's on HSI. And we're going to change the color from orange to maybe teal, which is this over here. Saturation, we're going to leave it at 100%. And for intensity, 25%. And you press OK. So now you can see this one is on orange and this one is on blue. Now we're going to change the effects. Now we're going to press this one over here, which says one flowing light on. And then we're going to go to effects adjust. Now make sure you're on forward. And you're going to put the speed on 85. So for brightness, we're going to set it to maybe 30%. For cycle times, it doesn't matter. Just leave it on 1. Press save. Be presented with a chat box over here. Just type in whatever you want to name the effect. And then we press save. So as you can see, we have 3 different presets over here: alternating, lightning, and cycle. Cycle is something that we just made. So we're going to press that and just press this button over here, which will add it to the timeline. So now make sure your cycle times is on loop, which is this one over here. And then you basically just press play. Now it's going to keep looping between orange and blue. And you're going to get an effect such as this.
This YN360 Mark IV is really amazing. It allows you to use it for different purposes. You can even use it as a top-down angle shot key light instead of using a gigantic softbox, right? So the possibilities with this kind of light is really endless because first of all, it's a different shape. It's not your traditional circular dome. So one more thing to note is that if you do want to use the remote and you locked both of those lights using the flick switch to the lock mode, you won't be able to control it using the app. So I just found it out now. So the good thing about using the app is that you can just sit down and you can control the light according to how you want it. So let's pretend I want to change this light over here. I'll change it to blue and I'll lower the intensity a little bit because it's too bright right there. So do I recommend buying the YN360 Mark IV? Yes, I do. My only complaint is that I don't know why Yongnuo did not make any softbox attachments for the YN360 Mark IVs, because they did it for the YN360 Mark IIIs, and I really want to see that with these models. So hopefully Yongnuo is listening to this video. Please make softboxes for the YN360 Mark IVs, and I'm gonna be such a happy person because now I can just use them as key lights without having to use a gigantic softbox. So that is it for me, guys. This was just a quick video regarding the YN360 Mark IV. So I really love the company Yongnuo. They were one of the few companies that I started with reviewing products here on YouTube. They really were nice enough to send me products back in 2019. And I really appreciate their help. So guys, if you want to buy these lights, I'm going to leave links down in the description below. So if you have any further questions regarding the YN360 Mark IVs or just lighting in general, ask me down in the comment section below and I'm going to try my best to help you guys out. And that's it for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.